I think we need to play a little more of Neville Chamberlain for those of you who don't know your history. Let's play a little more of Neville Chamberlain when he came back from Germany.
This morning, I had another talk with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler. And here is the paper which bears his name upon it as well as mine. We, the German Führer and Chancellor, and the British Prime Minister have had a further meeting today and are agreed in recognizing that the question of Anglo-German relations is of the first importance for the two countries and for Europe. We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again.
How'd that work out for all you liberals? See, the difference between Neville Chamberlain and England in that time and their pacifism and their cowardice and today is that the Labour Party realized what a danger Chamberlain had become, not only for their own party, but for the nation of England, for the empire of England at the time, and they threw him out of his own party. The Labour Party threw him out of the Labour Party. Remember, he was the head guy in England, Chamberlain, Neville Chamberlain, right? Prime Minister of England. But he was such a pacifist and such a diehard left-winger that even the left-wing Labour Party threw him out of the party. They voted him out of his own party. The Democrats, on the other hand, are so whacked out on foolishness and idiocy, fill in the blank, that they don't even understand the danger Obama has put not only their party in, but America in. They could care less about America. They care only about their party. And while the Titanic has struck the iceberg under Obama, they're all rushing to the poop deck. Listen to the rest in clip 2 on the Savage Nation.
Throughout this process, we'll stay in close touch with our friends and allies in the region, including Israel. Now, we're mindful of all the challenges ahead. The very fact that this was the first communication between an American and Iranian president since 1979 underscores the deep mistrust between our countries, but it also indicates the prospect of moving beyond that difficult history. I do believe that there is a basis for a resolution.
Is he stupid? Is Obama just stupid? Who is pushing him into these decisions? Is it the four horsewomen of the apocalypse? Is it George Soros? Is it Hillary Clinton? Who is pushing him into these untenable decisions? Who is making these decisions for him? And how do you feel about your president negotiating with the enemy of America and Israel, Iran, and meeting with the head of Iran for the first time since Jimmy Peanut Carter in 1979 met with them, but refusing to meet with the Republicans? How do you feel about that? So those who do not know their history are condemned to repeat it, and apparently we have millions and millions of ignoramuses in America who not only do not know their history, but care not to learn it. Obama has been on the phone more with Iran than Speaker Boehner, according to CNN. How does that work for you? How do you feel about your president being on the phone more with Iran than with the Republicans? How do you feel about the fact that the Democrats are more concerned with seizing picnic food and pouring Clorox on it than negotiating with the American people who want the belt tightening, meaning a budget battle that means something, who want 10 to 20% of every government department terminated, who want 20% of government workers fired, who want pensions cut by 20%. How about that? This is not esoteric. This is not esoteric at all. How do you feel about this? Carol on WABC in New York. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Mike, listen. The only wild turkeys in Colorado are the idiots who passed the legalizing marijuana. I think that Obama has an agenda to destroy this country. I think he's pulling us through a minefield. I think Iran is just buying time by even talking to this moron. And I'm afraid to tell you that the end result's looking a lot more like Armageddon day by day.
Very clearly put. You should consider a career in talk radio.
I'm from Brooklyn. I have a terrible accent.
Yeah, but, you know, I listen to people what they actually say, not their accent.
I see.
I've met too many people who speak the King's English and say nothing.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Okay, how many times have I heard people speak the perfect English and say nothing? Or how many politicians are so glib-tongued and have such wonderful voices and lead us astray? So, Carol, you resonate with me. I do think that Iran is buying time. This is the craziest thing. Listen to what Obama also said. We don't have this on tape. He said that Iran's supreme leader has issued a fatwa against the development of nuclear weapons. Obama says President Rouhani has indicated that Iran will never develop nuclear weapons. Do you believe that? Knowing how those people operate in the Republic of Iran, do you believe a word of what they say? He's issued a fatwa against the development of nuclear weapons? Iran will never develop. So what were they developing nuclear weapons for? They mean they stopped developing nuclear weapons? What do you think about any of this? Doesn't this worry you? Now, this is the same Iran that wouldn't shake his hand. Think about what I just said to you. I want you to understand what went on this week. There was a Major League UN meeting. Rouhani had a dinner. He invited Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam to his dinner, but not the President of the United States. And now the President of the United States calls him up and says, we had a wonderful, constructive conversation. You have any idea how low it can go? It's going real low. KSFO, John, how do you feel about this today on the Savage Nation?
Hey, what's going on, Michael? I think that the president of Iran is doing this and stroking Obama's ego and being the only one to talk to him because he initiated the phone conversation. Obama's not talking to Republicans because they're not going to make him feel good, but the president of Iran knows that Obama's weak. He'll use this opportunity to be the first one in 30 years to talk to Iran and make himself in the history books.
Oh, I see. This way he might win another Nobel Prize.
He might win another Nobel Prize for curing the nuke talks. So Obama's never, ever admitted he's wrong, ever in his life. So Russia gives Iran a nuke. Obama's never going to admit it. America turns a blind eye, and then it's over. It's just...
Yeah, I see it your way. We have a very, very frail president who's psychologically frail, who has never been told no in his entire life. The skids have been greased for him since elementary school. Everything has been handed to him. He has well, why go into it? We did a psychological analysis of him way back in the beginning. We're way past that. Here we have the President of the United States talking to Iran for the first time since Jimmy Peanut Carter in 1979. And Carter was such a terrible president that he permitted the cancer of radical Islam to metastasize around the world. It was Jimmy Carter's pacifism and belief that negotiation would work with these hardliners that permitted Khomeini to come back from exile in London and spread the cancer that we are facing around the world today. And now the oncologist in the White House tells us there is no cancer. The oncologist in the White House has just come back from the surgical ward and said there is no cancer. You're imagining it. There is no cancer of radical Islam. They're not developing a nuclear weapon. They're peace-loving. Trust me. And he won't talk to Republicans. He gives a blind eye and a deaf ear to the American people's desire for a belt-tightening. But he speaks to the Iranians?